my name's Victor, and believe it or not, I fell in love with surfing 13 years ago when I went surfing for the first time in Santa Cruz, California. My high school photography teacher had taken all the TAs out for a class trip, and I remember I was just on a surfboard learning how to paddle, and all of a sudden I felt him push me out of nowhere, and he just told me, "Victor, stand up quick." And then I just popped up and I felt this wave just ride me all the way to shore. And I'll never forget that feeling of everything just washing away. The only thing on your mind is the board and where the wave's gonna take you on this ride. And I would end up chasing that feeling for the next 10 years, all across the West Coast and all around the world, because I just love traveling and surfing that much. But then one unlucky day, I decided to play a game of basketball that would change my life forever. Basically, I had suffered a freak accident where everything in my left knee tore and exploded, leaving me crippled in bed for 3 months and doing rehab for the rest of my life. For the next 3 years, I would learn how to run and climb again, but surfing was one thing I was too afraid to pick up. What if I was out in the ocean and my knee decided to act up, or worse, just explode again and leave me stranded or drowning in the middle of the ocean? So I just never really wanted to pick up surfing again. But I recently went to Hawaii for a family trip and figured what better place to test my knee than there. I've surfed most of the islands in Hawaii, and I know the waves are pretty forgiving there, and also my brother would be nearby, so something did happen, he could always help me out. So here's my first time surfing in 3 years, coming back from a crippling injury.
It's just like riding a bike, right?
And it's true, you don't really forget how to surf. It's just a matter of getting your feet wet. Pun intended. Although all the running and swimming I did for rehab didn't really help me much for surfing because I was still so out of shape, struggling to catch any waves. Let's not forget to mention that you're competing against 30 other surfers trying to catch one wave. It's pretty brutal out there. But then you do catch one wave, and then it makes it all worth it. Until you realize that your knee isn't quite 100%, and you lose control of your board, almost killing another surfer. Luckily, I was able to jump off my board and pull on the leash before I almost chopped his head off. Thankfully, he was super chill and didn't freak out about it.
All right? If the camera faces outward,
yeah,
you're gonna see my face. Sorry about that. Okay.
It's so frustrating though. 3 years ago, I had just returned from traveling and surfing around in the Philippines, and then one random basketball game with people I didn't even know would change the course of my life. I still can't recall everything that happened. All I can remember was that I was going for a layup, and then my opponent tripped me from behind, causing me to land on my left knee. I pretty much blacked out from there, and when I came to my senses, I looked down, I saw my knee lodged into my thigh. And keep in mind, I had never broken a bone or torn a ligament, anything serious in my life.
Great asset for Kenny Atkinson to have AC who could stretch the floor. Lynn, you could almost see as he goes up here when he's coming down, he'll grab his right knee there.
He's gonna miss the rest of the season. You can see him just shaking his head there. He's saying, I'm done, I'm done, as soon as he landed on it.
Jeremy Lin's season came to an abrupt end on Wednesday night. The Nets guard suffered a ruptured patella tendon.
My what? The patellar tendon is one of the biggest tendons in your body that keeps your kneecap all connected to the muscles, and without that tendon, you have no way to lift your leg or straighten your leg out. I would eventually get surgery, which in itself was the most painful thing I've experienced in my life to this day. I remember waking up in my sleep screaming, holding onto my headboard because I felt like my knee was about to explode. It was ripping apart from the seams, on fire, and no amount of morphine or painkillers could calm the pain down. Finally, after 6 weeks of having to keep my leg completely straight so that the tendon can heal or it would rip again, I finally went in for my first checkup.
You all right?
Yeah.
Oh God. So just try and relax.
I couldn't even bend it if I wanted to. It was just so painful, and there was just so much scar tissue built up. I remember when I asked the doctor how long it would take for my knee to fully recover, he said that it'll never be back at 100%. I had already lost too much muscle mass and there was just too much damage done there. At most, he said maybe 85 or 90% depending on rehab. So I went to a rehab facility for a year to strengthen my left knee, learn how to walk all over again, and eventually try to surf on this day. I didn't have much trouble paddling or standing up really, but I couldn't control the board very well since most of my weight was on my front left knee, which wasn't at 100%. I must have tried standing up so many times, but when I finally caught a good one, the wave decided to slap me right in the face, causing me to fall off and almost drown. Yep. So I almost killed another surfer, I almost drowned. I took that as a sign to paddle back in and just give up. I had cuts all over my leg from the reef, and my knee was so red and swollen I was ready to call it quits. But then I looked at my knee and the message that I tattooed on it. I even made a BuzzFeed video on it. People get tattoos in their scars. And in that video, I got a tattoo that reads, "It's not how you fall, but how you stand back up." And in that moment, I was reminded of all the blood, sweat, and tears I had sacrificed to get back to even 90%. So I paddled back out and waited for the perfect wave, which finally came. For whatever reason, everything on this wave just kind of clicked. I stood up with so much confidence and I just rode the wave out with style. Then I just kept catching more and more waves and had so much fun as if it were my first day of surfing 13 years ago. It's uncanny how our human nature yearns for something more when it's taken away from us. In my case, it was my knee and all the things associated with that, like traveling, climbing, and surfing. So I urge you, if you're going through a hardship, whether it's mentally or physically, try your hardest to find the things that once brought you joy and pursue those to the best of your abilities. Even though my knee will never be 100%, I can fully appreciate the things I once took for granted, and one day I'll travel the world again surfing in some exotic location. Until then, surf's up.